Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to Direwolf20's Server Play Episode 11. You can see I'm hanging out in my house here and just coming back on. As some of you know, I was away for a few days and haven't been able to get on the server and really check out on how things have been doing. I still am running into that problem of my water well drying up. I actually moved the water area downstairs into my basement to see if just moving it to a different spot would assist, and unfortunately no, it is still drying up, so I gotta resolve that at some point. I actually also have a significant amount of diamonds at this point. You can see I have almost a stack in my inventory here. So I actually disabled this chest here that's crafting diamonds out of UU matter for me. So I'm just collecting the UU matter for now and might use it for some other cool stuff in the future. You can see my cactus farm filled up my chest, and now all the cactus is going in there and getting recycled. I actually also started recharging my quantum suit. It was getting kind of low. And the first thing I want to get going on, as a matter of fact, if we run over in here, you'll see that my chests are starting to get kind of full. And that's going to be a problem for me, I think. Because I need to, not let my chest get full. Let me take my diamond out of there. You can see I haven't expanded this guy a little bit and started putting some ores in there because it's getting full. So I need to figure out a way to store more junk. Luckily, while I was gone, the server admins here hooked us up with a new mod. Let me go into it now. Alright, let's check out this new mod that we've got. First off, I'm going to make our standard chest. Simple and straightforward. And I'm going to surround that with some iron. And that's going to give us a new item called an iron chest. This is actually an add-on for Industrial Craft. Anybody who's familiar with the Industrial Craft personal chest knows that it's about the size of a double chest in a one-block area, and they can be placed next to each other, which is awesome. Unfortunately, the latest update to IC2, combined with the way Buildcraft changed doing some of its items, Buildcraft can only inject items into pipes in a certain way, and unfortunately, it's not going to work with Buildcraft pipes when you're using these personal safes, at least in this current version. I think Alblaka does plan to fix it, so this awesome add-on guy decided he's going to give us the iron chest, which is about the same size as the personal chest. And anyone on the server can open it, so it's not a private chest like these guys are, but the benefit is that you can put pipes into it, and it works just fine with iron pipes and wooden pipes and all that good stuff, just the same way that any other chest would work. And awesomely, he made it so that you can upgrade them. I just made a gold chest by surrounding my iron chest with some gold. How cool is that? And if we place this guy in the ground, we'll quickly discover that he has even more inventory space. A good amount, as a matter of fact. Definitely more than a personal safe. And heck, if we're going to go gold, we might as well go diamond. That's right, this is a chest that can be upgraded to a diamond chest. It requires 4 diamonds, as shown, and some glass in the 4 corners here. Gives us a very nice looking diamond chest. And this guy is huge. Pretty darn big. I think that's probably about the same size as the alchemical chest that you can find in Equivalent Exchange. And worth pretty much on par with the cost of the alchemical chest. That guy was pretty expensive as well. And the nice thing about that, I believe I have another one sitting here, is they can be placed right next to each other without any kind of a problem. And it actually kind of looks nice with them sitting next to each other because there's that little bit of a spacing, just because of the way the chests are sized. So that's kind of neat looking. So what I'm going to be doing is spending a little bit of time cleaning up this area here, because obviously I'm having some serious storage issues. And yeah, I've got this personal chest area back here, but remember, Buildcraft pipes don't work on personal safes, and you can see I have a good amount of diamonds. Definitely stable on that for a while. So why don't I get started upgrading the chest area out here? I'm probably just going to do this in the most stupid way possible, and do something like this. Oh my, what a mess I just made. And then I can just place my awesome amounts of ores and copper and all that good stuff. Like I said, not the terribly brightest way to do it, but it'll work. So I'm going to spend a little time cleaning up this area here and start using these personal safes, and I'll get back to you guys in a moment once I've replaced these guys. Alright, starting to make a little bit of progress in here. Probably want to hook this guy up as a insertion pipe, and I'm probably also going to want to have him up like coming this way, kinda. Insertion pipe here, and then excess going here. See how that works? Nice and compact looking. Beautiful. Very beautiful. And you can see here I did the same design just because I have a lot of red power ores that I haven't done much with yet. Can you imagine when I macerate these? Oh my goodness, that's going to be a lot of copper and tin. Yeah, most of you guys probably know, did I ever mention this? Yeah, with the 1.23 version of Industrial Craft and Red Power 2 being on the latest version, they're both using the ore dictionary that's part of the MC4 JPI, so, you know, copper and tin are interchangeable. So I'm continuing to just make the progress here. I'm probably going to only have, you know, depending on the types of stuff coming in, you know, obviously I don't have a huge amount of coal, redstone, diamond, and uranium, so one chest is fine for now. I did find that these chests overflowed with marble. I was kind of wondering, you know, what I would get in these chests, and yeah, it was all marble. Cool. So I'll probably have to do something with that. No idea how I got a fence. You know what? Probably, I think my quarry ran through a little dungeon, or whatchamacallit down there, a little abandoned mine shaft. So that's how I got the fence and the torch, which was cool. So I'm going to continue swapping some of these out for diamond chests, almost more for aesthetic purposes now and just for the amount of storage they can bring together, and I'll be back shortly. Just look at that big old mess it makes while I'm slowly replacing items here. Big mess. But it all comes together nice and clean, and I'll resort this stuff in a moment just so it looks all nice and organized inside the chest. So that's much cleaner. Because it can store so much more now, I'm going to have 2 rows of dirt, 2 rows of sand, 1 row of sandstone, some gravel, and some marble. And I'm just going to resort the marble into this guy by pulling it all out of this chest and dumping it into this guy over here, my input chest. And who knows, maybe I'll replace him with a diamond, but I don't know if it's really worth spending the diamond chest on the input chest like that. So that way all the marble will get sorted in here, and all the extra marble will handily be recycled. Come to think of it, I'm going to have to throw my marble into my sorting system to make sure that marble goes down the yellow path, and then marble goes down the red path. Excellent. So, let me finish up with these chests, and I'll be back in a moment. Alright, I think that looks pretty slick. As you can see, I dumped that big, massive amount of marble that I had, as well as all the extra excess stuff just in my input chest. I didn't feel like resorting it right now. And this way, it'll make sure that all the marble comes in here, fills up these rows, and any excess marble will slowly be thrown into my recyclers and properly cleaned up and turned into scrap, which will be nice. So I'm going to let that run for a bit. Turned all these guys into diamond chests, as you can see. Plenty of room now for cobblestone, which only fits down here. This is my excess chest, which only kind of throw things in there that I didn't have sorted. You'll also, if you're paying attention, say to yourselves, Direwolf, why are you using these purple pipes, these pipes that are only used for insertion pipes, advanced insertion pipes, if you want to call them the proper name, on your diamond chests when you don't have anywhere else for them to go? Well, this guy shouldn't really fill up. Like I said, there's very few things that are going to land in here, as well as this guy, but I am planning, just in case in the future, I have a need to add to that. And these guys, of course, in the back here, send over to frequency 10, which is my recycler. So these guys dump out to the recycler once these chests are full. And this guy is a properly set up insertion pipe. So plenty of room for all the red power ores and whatnot. I do need to start running my quarry again, which I'll probably set up soon, but I think before I do that, why don't I get going on the project I started on in episode 10, which was that awesome and cool nuclear power facility. So anybody who watched my Let's Play episode from the single player Let's Plays knows that you're going to need a lot of coolant cells, and unfortunately they do not stack. And they're run through an extractor, and I can definitely use the centrifuge extractor, but I'll need to pick up all 3 coolant cells that it'll produce, because it only produce 3 at a time. So I figured, why not go ahead and create, similar to like I did in my Let's Play, and just throw down some redstone engines here. And I figured, why not do the same thing with my compressor? Might as well, you know, extract anything the compressor does, and get it going. So let's throw down our wooden pipes. And we'll get our wrench here to get these guys facing the right way. And we'll hook this guy up like so. That'll be just fine. Beautiful. So now, when I place my water cells in my extractor, they should automatically get pumped out as coolant cells. Let's give that guy a try. Hooray! Put this guy... oh wait, no. I don't have any tin on me. How terrible is that? Now, I put this guy in an extractor. He should become a coolant cell. And I need to turn on those engines outside. So let's get a couple pieces of redstone, a couple sticks, make ourselves some redstone torches. And they should pump out my stuff. Awesome. So now I have my automated coolant cell producer, but you know what? I have a lot of coolant cells I need to make, and boy, is it going to be a nuisance to fill up this bucket and all this crazy stuff. And constantly make these cells one at a time. I wonder if I can automate that a little bit. Well, of course I can. Why don't we get started on automating some water cell production? You guys remember the recipe for the bucket filler, don't you? Well, of course. How else did you expect me to be filling up a bucket automatically with water except with a bucket filler? Now, of course, I have this supposedly unlimited water source down here, which is, of course, drying up all the time on me, and it's pumping out over frequency 5. And frequency 5 heads upstairs into my water tank. However, this guy's staying full at the moment, obviously, because my engines aren't running. So why don't I try laying this guy down like so. I'm trying to find a good spot for him. I think, you know, this might work. Sure. And I'm going to have another waterproof pipe here. And I'll let this guy come in over frequency 5. Now, I don't want to put him in the top, because the top is where we want to insert our buckets. The bottom is where I'm going to send my power through, and I'm going to send the power the same way as I send this guy, frequency 2. So that way, when my engines are running on frequency 2, it'll supply power to either bucket filler, either this one or this one. Good enough for me. So, why don't I get that running first? You can see I brought a whole bunch of pipes down with me, trying to be prepared for a change for you guys instead of doing this willy-nilly. So, frequency 2 can receive. That looks pretty good. And the nice thing about these teleport pipes and the you know, energy pipes in general is if a machine doesn't need power, it's not going to send power, so there won't be any power wasted here. Okay, so that looks pretty sharp. Now let me try and figure out exactly how I want to design this. Hang on with me a moment. Alright, let's see. I think I want my advanced insertion pipe to come in like this, connected to a stone transport pipe, and if it can't go in, we're going to want to have it basically come back to an input chest, like so. The input chest need some redstone torches for this. We're going to want, I'm thinking our input chest and our output chest can be the same because it's such a small amount of items that we're going to be doing here. So we're going to hit the advanced insertion pipe, and we're only going to export empty buckets. Perfect. Okay. And then the export goes a little something like this. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now, of course, we're going to need to export properly filled buckets here, aren't we? So let's figure out exactly how we want to lay that out. Alright guys, I spent a good 15 minutes reworking my design here because I want to try and make it as compact as possible, and I was really kind of challenging myself to see how compact could I make this design. So let me walk you through it. This chest will function as both the input and the output chest. Basically, all I have to do is put some empty cells in here and some empty buckets, and things will progress. What'll happen is, this is an advanced wooden pipe, and it will only output empty buckets. The empty buckets are sent up here through the iron pipe, which forces it to the right, and tries to insert the empty bucket into the bucket filler. If it fits, the bucket filler will accept the empty bucket, otherwise it'll go up this tube, followed over here, and into the iron pipe again, and back down. So basically what you get is just a loop, and it'll keep trying to put the iron bucket back inside the bucket filler. Very cool. Okay, so once that bucket filler fills up the bucket, it'll be pumped out through this chest, through this wooden pipe here, not advanced wooden pipe, just regular wooden pipe, and dumped into the chest as a water bucket. This chest will also store the empty cells, and the water bucket and the empty cell will combine to find a water cell. And if we take a quick peek underground here, we'll find that there's another wooden pipe that will pump the combined water cells out of the chest, or I'm sorry, out of the automatic crafting table, and just real quick back into the chest here. So the filled water cells should hang out in the chest right there. So let's give it a whirl, shall we? The first thing I'm going to want to do is make sure that this guy, frequency 2, is set. Excellent. And I believe if I place this water pipe, this waterproof teleport pipe here, set it to frequency 5, which just double checking is the same as this guy, check our water level is empty, and set this receiving to true, this guy should start to fill up with water. Excellent. So the only thing left is to give this guy some power, which I'll go upstairs now. Go into my power generation room, frequency 2, and activate it. So now the power from those combustion engines should be sending directly and solely into this bucket filler. And the last thing we need to do is make ourselves some buckets. And test out the system. So first I'll put my empty buckets in there, which will get pulled out because this is an advanced pipe that only pulls out buckets. Perfect. Those guys should filter on through, make their way into the bucket filler. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to throw these empty cells into this chest here. Remember, this is the input chest. And those 5 buckets will continue to get recycled. So this guy's filling up the bucket, and everything's running smoothly. The buckets are combining with the empty cells, getting pushed back out as empty buckets. And the empty cells should be filtering through down here underneath. Look at that. So there come the water cells. Very nice. And now the empty buckets are filtering through again for another round. Bucket filler's filling them up with water. And you can see the water cells are not being pumped out, nor are the empty cells, because of that awesome advanced wooden pipe, thanks to Zeldo. Dude, I love your pipes. That sounded really wrong, didn't it? Anyway, moving on. So that's my pretty compact design. I think that's pretty much as compact as I could have probably made it. I'm sure there's something I could have done a little bit better. These two pipes on top here might be optional, but I think it's working just fine, so I don't want to mess with it. So I'm going to let this run for a little bit and just fill up these water cells. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to head back upstairs. I'll grab the water cells that I have and throw them up here into my extractor, where they'll quickly get pumped out So you can see it's a good thing that I have this redstone system here, otherwise these guys just would be really slow at producing. And they'll all get dumped into my iron chest here. And I made this an iron, I think it's big enough. If I really need more coolant cells than I can store in here, I'll probably upgrade it maybe to a gold or a diamond. So why don't I get ready to make that nuclear reactor. By the way, I said this is the most compact design that you can go with. I'm not sure if our bucket filler, I might as well test it while I'm here. As you guys recall, the new version of bucket filler, you can put cells directly into it. I should probably test that and see if that works, because if it does, then this whole system I built is kind of silly, but I'm not sure if the server has been upgraded with that new version yet. So why don't we just real quick make some empty cells, and I think we just ran out down there. Yeah, I could definitely make this more compact if empty cells fit inside the bucket filler now. Let's test it out. Nope, not yet. So I got to bug Zeldo to upgrade our bucket filler on the server. There's also a brand new version of bucket filler coming out, and I'm about to do a mod spotlight on that. So stay tuned for the mod spotlight of the new version of bucket filler. Alright, I'll be back. So the first thing I'm going to need a lot of is those mixed metal ingots. I just made a whole stack of them. Like I said, I'm pretty good on resources at the moment. I'm just going to throw them in my compressor and let them cook along. And while I'm waiting on that, let's do some math and figure out exactly how many circuits and crazy things I need. And I'm going to need 4 advanced circuits, so let's get those going. And I'm going to need a generator, which is pretty straightforward and easy to make. Do I have any regular iron on me? Of course not. If you guys have ever seen a Direwolf video, you know I always forget at least one ingredient. And yeah, I know, I should try that new technique a couple people have mentioned where you can, if you basically just use an automatic crafting table as your regular crafting table, you can leave your ingredients inside the crafting table and come back to them in a little bit later just to get them. But that's alright. For now, I think I'm good. So I think this is what I need to do to get a generator. Perfect. Let's go see how these guys are working out. Oh right, I forgot. I extracted my singularity compressor stuff. Alright, so why don't I wait a few minutes for all these guys to arrive in my chest. Okay, now if my math is correct, I'm going to need 6 of these things. The integrated reactor platings. Oh yeah, I forgot most of this stuff doesn't stack. Oy. Well, let's put away some of this. And I'm going to need 2 of those integrated heat dispersers. So that looks something like this. There we go. 1 integrated heat disperser. 2 integrated heat dispersers. And now I need let's see, I need another machine. Integrated heat disperser, 3 of these reactor platings, yeah, I need 2 more of them. And then 4 of these guys should give me a reactor chamber. And let's make 2 more of these. And another machine. Yeah, I was pretty good on resources until I started building this. Goodness, this is going to be a lot of stuff. I think I mentioned to you guys in the past just how expensive it is to go nuclear reactor building. But at least the reactor chambers stack. Awesome. Now, for my nuclear reactor, I want to place my generator in the middle, the 2 chambers on each side, the advanced alloys, and the advanced circuits. Awesome. Nuclear reactor time. Woohoo. Now, I'm not going to go crazy just yet. I do want to go figure out exactly where I want to place this guy. Remember I dug out a nice little area in my last episode. A neat little room here with a spider in it, apparently. Holy cow, did that scare me. I don't know how he got in there. Probably because I left the door open. Though don't ask me how a spider fit through a door. But you can see, lights off, nice and dark. Lights on, very cool. And I'm debating exactly where I want to place these guys. But I'm thinking, let me try and map out exactly how I want to lay out this area. So this is a representation of how my reactor is going to look. It's going to be that, little shape like this. The reactor is going to be in the center, and the reactor chambers will be one on each side. Then I'm going to have water flowing on all the sides of those, and then a reactor room immediately outside that. Now, as far as I understand, nuclear reactors only cool from the water in the 3x3 square around them, so the reactor chambers actually take up one of those spots, and that's alright because it cools off the reactor even more than water will. So this design should be pretty much perfectly ideal. If somebody thinks that's wrong, go ahead and post a comment, but I'm pretty sure that if I fill this room with water, and again, this is just going to basically be a room that's going to go all the way up to, the top of this guy. So I'll probably have the roof like this. So that'll kind of be your roof area. Looks pretty sharp, and it'll be all water inside there. That'll probably be contained within one of those reinforced stone areas. And granted, if the reactor goes nuclear, it's not gonna protect me if it's just one layer of reinforced stone. You need several layers of reinforced stone to protect it from going nuclear. But I don't plan on doing anything more advanced than the Tier 2 reactor. Yeah, I'm going to go with a Mark II reactor, which should never explode, given one cycle of uranium to run through. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do. I want the reinforced stone to be pretty much a cosmetic thing. I want to have a nice nuclear reactor chamber here, and then I'll probably have another one over here on this side of the room. And they'll have some fiber optic cable running over to a mass fabricator. So that's pretty much how the design's going to look. So why don't I start that design by placing down right in the center of this little area here. Make it official. Nuclear reactor. Ooh, pretty. And that's a basic nuclear reactor. Now I've got some chambers to make to expand that guy, and I definitely have to make a lot of components, but I feel like this is a good wrapping up point for this video. I've got the nuclear reactor, I built the water thing for making all those coolant cells I'm going to need, so that's going to be pretty good. In the next episode I'm going to continue along and at least get one full nuclear reactor up and running. So, Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed this server play episode number 11, and I'll catch you guys next time for episode 12. Take it easy.